presidential TV debate tonight. What are the papers saying about it?
Well, Le Parisien has got their strategy to win the debate. Got the two candidates there on the front page with some of their very final rallies yesterday. Now, what then are their secret plans? Well, they've spoken to some of the Hollande team who admit that they're a little bit nervous. Of course, Hollande might be favourite in the polls, but Sarkozy is still favourite to win this TV debate. He's known as being a good debater, being cutting, being pugnacious. If anything, his weakness is that he's too aggressive, too arrogant, maybe he might be perceived by the audience, the paper says, because he does tend to really go for it, and he is expected to absolutely go for the jugular tonight. Of course, he's nearly 7 points behind in the latest polls. He's got nothing to lose, and he's expected to go all out on subjects that appeal to hard right voters, of course, those Front National voters. He's going to really confront Hollande on policies like giving the right to vote in municipal elections to immigrants who live in France, maybe regularising people who've lived here for a long time illegally, that kind of thing. He's expected to really attack the socialist candidate. Now, Sarkozy's campaign team tell the paper they're completely relaxed. He's zen, he hasn't done any extra preparation, while Hollande's team on the other side admit that they've kept his timetable deliberately light for the last few days, so he's got lots of time to prepare. They've spoken to Ségolène Royal in that paper, who took Sarkozy on, of course, in 2007 and was generally not thought to have done particularly well out of that debate. She was quite caught on the back foot by the president's aggressive tone. And she does say, I've spoken to François on the inside, I've told him things that he should keep aware of for that Sarkozy debate. But also there's traps that the president could fall into that he did that time. He was seen as being quite condescending towards her, and he won't want viewers to think that he's being condescending to Hollande or looking down at him. That's a trap Sarkozy often falls into.
Now, preparations for this debate have been underway for quite a while now, and there are very strict rules, aren't there?
Yes, there really are. Libération is taking a look at this today inside their paper. Front page says what they really think of one another, and they say that for François Hollande, Sarkozy is the absolute epitome of everything he hates in politics, someone who's just focused on the goal, on power and on winning, who he sees has no principles, whereas for Sarkozy, Hollande just doesn't have the stature to be president. He's too weak, he's too vague. But they do take a funny look also on the inside at the strict rules that the camera team are being subjected to for this evening's debate. Apparently, the campaign teams have already had a row over who should be behind the camera. They're worried that the choice of director is someone who might be a bit too sympathetic to Sarkozy. And then there's a whole list of shots they're absolutely banned from using. They can't take any shots of the candidates listening to the questions from their opponent in case they look a bit too caught off guard. And particularly banned angles are Sarkozy's profile because of his nose. His campaign team don't want that seen. And Hollande's team have banned any shots focusing on his hairline.
Hairline and nose, right. Now, this won't be the first time that these two men come face-to-face in a TV debate, will it?
It certainly won't. Les Echos is looking back over some of their previous confrontations. Of course, these two men have been best enemies, as the paper puts it, for decades at the top of French politics. So the first time they ever faced off in front of TV cameras was in October 1988, back when François Hollande was... 1998, sorry, back when François Hollande was head of the Socialist Party. Nicolas Sarkozy was number 2 of the then right-wing coalition, the RPR, which now has since become the UMP, of course. Now, that debate, Nicolas Sarkozy was seen to have quite clearly won because he talked a great deal about law and order and crime even back then, 13 years ago. He was thought to have better addressed the things that the French were worried about and to have much better on-TV style, a much better, lighter debating style than François Hollande, who at that time, the paper says, came across as a bureaucratic civil servant. But he's learnt a lot since then. The two men then faced off during the European elections campaign in May 1999, when it was generally thought that Sarkozy came worst out of the debate because he talked down to Hollande too much. He was too condescending, he was too arrogant, and that's the hole he doesn't want to fall into today.
Now, Defence Minister Gérard Longuet, he's also caused something of a scandal.
Yes, moving away from the debate, he's managed to embarrass the UMP by saying in an interview he gave to the extreme right-wing magazine Minute, which other cabinet ministers have since been lining up to say they would never give an interview to. Now, he told them that Marine Le Pen was completely different from her father and that she's now become someone that the UMP can talk to. Of course, the UMP leadership is absolutely denying that they are thinking about talking to her or the Front National or arriving at any kind of agreement for the upcoming parliamentary elections.
Sarkozy said there wouldn't be a deal.
Absolutely. So a number of other UMP figures have come out over the last 24 hours to say they're horrified and shocked by what Longuet has said, that he speaks only for himself and so on. Longuet, of course, was actually a founding member of the Front National, so he's just going back to his own political roots here. But it's nevertheless been very embarrassing for the party in a time when Nicolas Sarkozy's drive after that hard right Front National vote is really polarising the French.
OK, thank you very much, Elena, for that look at the French press. And you're watching live from Paris. A reminder of our top